Hi, everybody. Good evening. Today is Saturday, March the 5th. And I have been video journaling already 2 days in a row. This is my third day in a row, which is very unusual for me. I normally can go a week or longer just because of other activities. And it's not that I did not have other activities, it's just that I'm so focused and passionate on what's inside of me. And thankfully my husband is home and preoccupying the child. So if you're new to me, or even if you've watched a few of my videos but you have not subscribed and liked yet, please do. Please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. So I am working, I'm journaling right now on emotional and mental abuse of relationships, and what is that like with living with a narcissistic sociopath. This is not meant to be ugly and beat up on people. I was thinking about this because I'm sharing a lot of very, very intimate information. I'm trying to be as nondescript as possible, but have to share what I went through for 5 years, and without hurting anyone in the mix that perhaps would ever encounter and watch my videos, and they know who they are and what I really went through, all of it. Do I think that perhaps someone who is a chronic abuser can not abuse any longer? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I can't answer that. Someone who is a master manipulator but yet really desires love and true love, but yet they end up finding themselves using and abusing over and over again in their lifetime. Is there ever hope for them? I don't know. And I cannot speak to that. Do I wish and hope real love in a relationship, and true love with God first? Let's just make that clear. Then the partner. Yes, of course. No matter how much I went through, I believe that everyone deserves to know love and have love and be loved in the right way. But I think that sometimes there are some people that are just preconditioned not to 100%, they don't 100% go there. They won't, and they don't. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of give that as my my clause, or not my clause, but just kind of get that out there, like this is on my mind. Okay, so on if you're just now joining me, this is part 3, and I would highly recommend watching part 1 and part 2, so you would fully understand my story and what I went through. So real quick, 20 years ago, I found myself in a relationship that was extremely destructive. It was not evident right away. It was a 5-year relationship. It has taken me, now it's been 12 years, a little over 12 years being out of that. I'm, praise God, happily married with a child and 3 animals and moving forward. But why do I journal? Why do I share this? And it's because I know it's a part of my walk, my life, and I want to help any girl, young woman, or lady who thinks, oh my goodness gracious, like how in the heck did I ever get into a scenario in a relationship that is so destructive? And I know that there's men out there that are in abusive relationships. I cannot speak to that. I can only speak to me, what I came from. But I would imagine that the same tactics, principles, manipulations apply. So let's just move on from there. So anyway, I ended part 2 with sharing about my very first trip to Europe and what that was like. And it was very confusing. I was told, do not disappoint my friends. Do not embarrass me in front of my friends. And the friends were very gracious people, very nice, very, very nice. They were in a latex clothing industry, and they dealt with a lot of underground people, and just normal people too, people that just wanted to have like latex clothing. But there were politicians, there were people in clergy, international individuals that would come to her very small but very personal boutique that were handmade latex clothing. And so I learned a lot about, very quickly, what these underground clubs were like. I said in part 2, and I'll just say it again, I was never compromised. It was a situation where it was a social setting, and but there were spaces upon spaces upon spaces that were closed off, and I never knew what went beyond those doors. I asked, and I was told, you don't want to know. The activities that were being displayed on stage were beyond perverse. Wickedness is the only word I can really think of. Most of the people that I were around were there for finding their own pleasures in open, like contained but open area spaces, but they were off to the side, and a lot of people just watched. And I didn't want to be there. I forgot to mention, this is not, so I went many times. Every time we were to go to Holland, which is about every spring and then every fall, so 2 times a year, we would stay for a week. We had to go. It was part of a fetish. And I had to go. If I didn't go, I was going to be punished. And so also these places, everyone, well, not everyone, I shouldn't say that, but most everyone that I understood to be there was under ecstasy. And I found myself having to justify again. I had to fit in. I had to behave myself. I had to be a good girl. And so it was easier. It was just easier to have like a half of a tablet there and overseas, just so I could cope. But it was so crazy because like I wanted to have a good time, but there was a side of me like still like, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is wrong. And the animalistic, oh my gosh, displays in people's faces, they were projecting out They're projecting. I thought, this is so demonic. I mean, I knew this was demonic, but now I'm absolutely seeing. I am witnessing hell's playground. The level of perversion, the faces, the eyes were grotesque. And I remember I would think time and time again, I'd be there and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, am I here, am I here, am I here? Oh my God, Jesus, if you come back and I'm here, what's gonna happen to me? And so, you just have to play the game. You have to shut up. You have to shut up. And what was really hard is that you met really nice people, but so perverse. And these were people's what they do on the side. So I was told, don't embarrass me in front of my friends. Who are you to try to judge anybody? This is what people like to do. And I knew I was in a wicked, wicked place. Many, many times. Many times. And I think now that I'm starting to video journal all this out, I can't go year by year. It's just too much. I'm not going to do it. So I'll just suffice to say that towards the end of this relationship, it was a fall trip back to Holland, and I did not go. He got dressed up in his latex. The couple had theirs on. And I stayed back. I did not go. I did not go. And I was punished. Punished meaning stonewalled, like stonewalling, complete ignoring, not even acknowledged, nothing. But I knew I was in trouble. I knew big time. So this is like year 4. But I just kind of want to get this part over with, the journaling part of these experiences. Because they were so wicked. The things I saw and the things I didn't even see. Because we weren't allowed in those rooms. I don't even know what went on. I was so sick all the time I couldn't eat. This is a whole culture. There's a whole world. And these are people with wealth. These are people. This is not like a club that parties and there's sex that goes on. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about wickedness. There's some things you just cannot unsee. I remember I'd come back home sick. sick in my gut. Like, how can I ever get out of this? And I would sit in the front yard. I had mentioned earlier, video 2, like I would sit in my friend's yard, crisscross, and just sob and say, "You don't understand the things I've seen. I won't tell you because I don't want you to have them in your mind. I don't want you to see these things." And so when I began to push back, I began to be punished. And not just in Europe, but at home. And so more gaslighting happened. Gaslighting meaning like, here's a great example. I gave one example in part 1, but I'll give another one. Looking for a tie, a certain tie. Can't find the tie. Looked all through the closet. Looked all through everywhere. We had a very large closet. Went through everything. Can't find the tie. Tie's not there. He goes in, finds the tie. What are you, dumb? I found the fucking tie. Tie's right here. How could you not see that? How could you not see it? So that's called gaslighting. When your abuser, creates scenarios where they try to make you think that you are confused or you're missing information, or did I see that? Did I not see that? Oh, did I hear you correctly, or did I not hear you correctly? And those things happened all the time. I never said that. Like, we would be in a public situation with his friends, and I would like retell a story of something, and he would say, "I didn't say it like that. I never said that. I don't know where she gets that from. I don't know where she gets that from." And laughs it off. And his friends join, like, they think automatically, "Oh, well, he must be correct and she must be misinformed," or whatever. I hope I'm explaining this correctly. There's so many things that an abuser will do to make you feel like you are losing your mind. And it's because they're slowly making you feel tricked and manipulated and betrayed, and you're constantly questioning yourself. Well, oh goodness, I'm 18 minutes in, and I ended up focusing on these darn trips. Yeah, so let's just keep going here. I'll try to make this. So when we would come home, I just thought, well, maybe if I start going back to church, things would get better. I need to go back to church for me. And even if he doesn't go with me, that's fine. I love him. I loved him. I was still swallowing. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. Even though I knew things were wrong, I thought, my God, I already had something that failed. I'm not going to make this fail. And he's not what I thought he was, but that's okay. I can get back in church, and I'm going to make things right. I'm going to make things right. And it did not. It made them worse. The closer I wanted to get back in my relationship with God, the more I went to church, the more I was ridiculed, the more I was punished. I was told, "You need to go to church. You need to go to church." I would go to church and come home from church, and then I was told church was stupid because they were just there to take your money. So, like, no matter what you do, whenever you are with a jacked up person, an abuser, they will say things here, and then they'll go here, and they'll go here, and da 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 da. They make, just like I said in the beginning, number one, it's a shifting sidewalk all the time. Shifting, 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 shifting. How they make you feel. What are you thinking? Who are you? Did I really say that? Did I really think that? Did you say that? Did you think that? Did that really happen? Like, so many incidences. And then what's really, really sad and pathetic is that it wasn't always like that. There would be days where things were fine. And you would think, oh, good, good. But what I began to realize in my situation is that the ecstasy became more commonplace and at home. I mean, here in the States, it wasn't no longer like all the time in Europe. It was now at home, and it was better. It seemed to be better initially. On the weekend, he wanted to have it, and I was like, great. That's how far I had gone in my desperation for myself, for him. I would even have a tablet and listen to music, and we would talk, and I thought, okay, well, maybe I can reach him this way. Like, justifying. But in the end, it ended up getting worse and worse. And anyway, again, like I had said, the liar, he has a counterfeit for everything. And definitely so. And so as time progressed, it began getting worse and worse. And the contentment that he had for me, the more that I realized that I was so lost and I was so far away, so far from where I had been and who I am and who I was, or who I was. Like, it began reconciling me in me again. And the more that I began to reconcile myself back to God, the worse it became on his side, directed to me. So I'm going to go ahead and just close this up because it's 23 minutes in. I thank you for watching me. I know I tend to kind of go off on some trails, but sometimes I get so caught up in my thoughts, and I have to piece things back together, and then I want to just get them out and correctly. But anyway, I just want to thank you for joining me. And as I always say, that God is for us. He never leaves us. He fights for us. He stands behind you, beside you, and goes before you. And may the Lord bless you and keep you, and may his face shine upon you in graciousness and peace. And may you be radiant in his spirit and in his light. I kind of sometimes add little extra things like that. But anyway, God bless you, really, and thank you for joining me. If you wish to send me a comment or a note, please do so. I do respond, and I'm so grateful that I am alive today to be able to share. And I am gonna have to close all this out probably in the next 2 to 3 sessions. But for today, here's what it was. So God bless you. Thank you. Send me a note and I will respond and get back to you. And if I can pray for you, please let me know. And if you're struggling with what you think might be emotional or mental abuse, dealing with a narcissistic personality, let me know. It's insidious. It's very insidious. Anyway, so God bless, okay? And 25 minutes.